The other big story is the ongoing integration of federal agencies into law enforcement on the streets of Washington, D.C., and the policy and political debates around that. And I got to tell you, I have mixed feelings about that story and talking about it here because, and I'm sorry, my eyes are just tearing up for some reason. Anyway, those of you listening to us and not watching will wonder why it is I'm pausing. It's because my eyes are killing me. In any event, why do I have mixed feelings about talking about that story? There's crime in the streets of DC, and everyone I know who lives in DC, everyone literally, and I know a lot of people. I grew up there. I used to work there. I cover Washington, although I don't live there. Everyone I know there will tell you the same thing, which is they don't really care about the crime statistics. If they live in literally any neighborhood in the District of Columbia, no, is it 90 square miles? Is that what it is? Uh, there's danger on the streets, and I mean, my family lives there. My dad lives in a very upscale neighborhood, and it's scary as hell what happens in his neighborhood. And everybody has those doorbell cameras now, and everybody I know, almost everybody, that's an exaggeration. It's not exaggeration to say everybody I know feels that there's too much crime on the streets of DC and it's unsafe, and they've been robbed and carjacked and seen shootings in the neighborhood. Lots of people I know, try not to be hyperbolic, have captured crimes on their doorbell cameras. I mean, it just shouldn't be. And so anyway, there's crime, and so I don't like the debate about whether DC is a dangerous city. Trust me, DC is a dangerous city. So I don't like that. I don't really like the debate about. I shouldn't say I don't like. We're not going to settle the constitutional issue. We'll see if the courts get involved here. We'll see how it goes. And I get the concern, some of it political, some of it substantive, that, it's unusual and unprecedented in some ways what's happening, to have the president of the United States using the military, the National Guard, law enforcement, federal law enforcement to try to police the streets of Washington. But the mayor, who talked again today, I think is probably in a little bit of a bind, because on the one hand, she's a Democrat in a Democratic city that doesn't like anything Donald Trump does. On the other hand, I mean, here's some more resources, and you can talk about how bad the DMV is in Maryland, the Motor Vehicle Department. You can talk about how poor the roads are maintained, how bad the schools are. There's a lot of things to criticize about the DC government. True about most American cities, by the way. But crime and violence on the streets, right? Job one for any government: keep the people safe. Allow businesses and families to go about their business and live their lives without fear of being robbed or killed. So for me, all these issues about, is Trump going to try to do this in other cities, or is he doing this to distract from Jeffrey Epstein, or on the other side, is he doing it because he really cares? I mean, I'm not uninterested in those things, but all I really care about is, can government work here? And again, I'm encouraged by the mayor. There was a meeting today between the mayor and a lot of senior federal officials. Can they make this work? Because I can tell you this: the mayor of DC, and she seems like, compared to the last 10 mayors of DC, she seems to be one of the more competent people who've had the job. But I can tell you this, with no reservation or fear of being contradicted, she was not on track to control crime in her city. She's just not. So, and again, this is why a lot of the discussion around this story doesn't interest me that much. What I really care about, as someone who, as I said, grew up in the area, has family there, a lot of people I care about live there, I just want to see whether the feds and the DC government working together can actually make a difference. And by the way, if they did, if I were the mayor of another city, even a Democratic mayor, I'd say, yeah, let's try that model here. And so little of the discussion is about that. And my colleagues in the media, they want to say this is inappropriate. This is Trump trying to change the subject. This is Trump violating norms. This is Trump trying to take over a Democratic city. This is Trump playing the race card. I'm not saying that none of that's true. I'm really not. Some of it, I'm sure, is, not all of it. But So little of the discussion is about the one thing that I think matters. I want kids and families and business owners in Washington, D.C. to see whether this works. I mean, I see in the chat. I never read it, but I do glance at it. Authoritarianism. Yeah, sure. I get that theme. And I'm not indifferent to it at all as a journalist, as a citizen. I get the constitutional and pure power implications of this, but I don't really care about them. I'm just being honest. All I want is our focus to say, can this be done? And can it be done well? Right. So it's one thing to say we're going to put guard and active military and federal law enforcement on the streets. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to coordinate it. And I watch a lot of coverage and I read a lot of coverage. I'd like the coverage to be about holding them accountable to doing it well. Because guess what? They're doing it. Caroline Levitt today said they're going to do it for the 30 days and then evaluate. Now, I keep meaning to do this, and maybe somebody on here will know the answer. The law says, again, the home rule laws doesn't apply to any other city. They can do it for 30 days. Well, can they stop for a day and then do another 30? I don't know, right? Like, is it lifetime 30? How long do you have to wait before you do another 30? I'm curious about that. Because if it's working, sure, take a day off and then go right back to doing it. Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip. And you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.